Welcome! You have arrived at my Flosstube channel all about cross stitch. My name is Megan with MJ Stitches, and today is July 24th, 2025. I am a new stitcher. I have been cross stitching for about 6 months, and I wanted to find another sedentary hobby, and so far this has just absolutely exploded. This is my very first Flosstube, and I am excited to share my journey with you. In this video, I would like to introduce myself to hopefully make some new friends and join in and participate in the cross-stitching community. For the most part, I am a high energy person. I have a lot of hobbies. I love golfing, gardening, traveling, puzzling, you can see from my wall, painting, hiking, and now cross-stitching. So if you are looking for some positivity, someone to lift you up, you are in the right place. Grab your stitching, grab a cup of coffee or tea, whatever your beverage of choice is, and we'll get started while I parade through my journey. All right, I'm gonna begin quick with stats. So far in my 6 months of stitching, I have 8 finishes, 1 FFO, 11 whips, and 3 immediate plants. I won't get to exactly all of them today, but there are a few that I think really outline my journey as a new and growing stitcher that I am really excited to share with you. Okay, so I'm going to start off my journey parade with my oldest whip, which is now a finish. That is called Pansy by Candemire Designs. This is a printed kit. I know I've said I've been cross-stitching for about 6 months. This project in particular, I started in 1997. That is when I first learned to cross-stitch. My mom taught me. She dabbled in a cross-stitch when I was a lot younger, and being a kid, I wanted to do whatever my mom was doing. So she got me this kit, and I decided to try it. So it is a very, very special project to me that it has spanned 28 years. Wow. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm sure someone out there could probably do some math. What the project looks like. And when I started down here, doing a couple of these squares, and then I started a bit in the ribbon. My stitches, they are all wackadoodle in whichever way. They're not the best stitches back in 1997. But you know what? I love it. It's part of this progress of this piece, and so I'm saving these stitches. I'm not going to unstitch them. At this point, I was pretty young, and I just decided that I was done. So my mom packed it up, put it away, and I haven't looked at it since. So earlier this year, when my mom discovered that I was thinking about getting back into cross stitch, she shipped it back to me. It's the first time I've looked at it since, 1997, and I finished it. Interesting about this project, I actually am going to show you, I know you're not supposed to show you the pattern, but you'll understand why after I show it to you. This is a printed pattern. Sorry, I feel like I'm in your personal space. Okay, so this is the pattern that they sent you way back when. And you are just supposed to, they think they gave you 4 colors, and you just kind of stitch around in the areas. It looks like a pattern, you know, the colors, and you just kind of pick out your own squares to stitch where the colors are. The pattern was not printed evenly on the fabric, so it's kind of a make it up as you go. And when I started, I didn't understand that. And I didn't know why they only gave 4 colors. So I decided that I was stitching the whole thing. When I finished this piece, my mom had included some of her extra threads from her previous kits. My aunt had given us a box of floss that she had, and so I just used all of that to finish up the entire pattern. So it's kind of cool. I have myself in 1997, myself in 2025, my mom in here, my aunt in here, and I'm sure you're wondering about this. Well, when I started this in 1997, these were my initials. And now in 2025, I'm married. Ah, yay! I love my husband. So these are my new initials. So this piece really transcends a lot of my life. But that is a very special piece to me to start off my rediscovery of cross stitch. So if you ask me, would I do another printed pattern? At this point, I would say no. Positives, it's great for traveling. You don't have a extra tablet or a chart to carry around or to kind of spread out. But it kind of makes the after look a little bit messy, which I'm not sure I'm particularly a fan of. 30 years ago, this is the technology they've had. And we all know that in the last 30 years, technology has just kind of exploded as well. So have you guys done any patterns like that anymore that have printed patterns? Are they better now? I'm assuming they would be. I don't know. Comment below and let me know. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you don't. Let me know what's changed with printed patterns over the last 30 years. And maybe I'll have to reconsider doing another one sometime. Next up in my journey whip parade is going to be golfer's motto. Did that work? I don't know, I can't see. We're gonna try to do this the old-fashioned way in case that did not work. Here is what this piece looks like. It's by Reed Baxter. It's a Dimensions kit from 2001. That's when the kit was published. My husband and I are huge golfers. So I decided to pick this piece up to stitch for him for his birthday earlier this year. And when I say huge golfers, I mean fanatics. We met on a golf course, we got engaged on a golf course, we got married at the same golf course that we met at, and we played golf on our wedding day. My husband married me in his knickers. That's what he wanted to do. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. Made us super happy. So I changed up my finished piece. This is my first FFO. Oh, my first and only. So this is the completed piece. And as you can see from let's try to show this. This one says, "Life is short, play 18." And it has a ball with 9 holes on it. Well, I had to make some changes. If you knew my husband, you'd understand why. The ball actually has 18 holes on it, and then it says, "Life is short, play 36 holes." So a typical round of, for any of you that aren't golfers, a typical round of golf is 18 holes. 9 holes is about half. That's when you get back to the clubhouse, to take a beverage, snack, bathroom break, and then you go back out and play 9 more. Or if you are a little more insane like my husband, you want to play 2 full rounds of 18 holes in a day, at minimum. So the other cool thing about this piece was this is where I learned how to do French knots. I have the wonderful world of YouTube. I saw plenty of videos that taught me how to correctly do a French knot. These aren't quite the best, but I am very, very proud of my work. And I have a lot of laughs along the way. During the process of stitching up those two pieces, I was like, wow, like this is fun. I loved that I could see my progress as I went along. I felt like I was accomplishing something. And I thought, okay, what else can I do? So I picked up another kit, but did I go for something small and easy? Nope. I went for a full coverage Christmas stocking. Cross stitching for me has been a great relaxing hobby, a great hobby to, like I said, see my progress, mental health. It's really helped mental health, and kind of have fun in the process while I'm either listening to an Audible or watching other Flosstubes or listening to some music. I have grown into that process. When I first started, which is one of the reasons I bought this kit, I needed a purpose. It's like, well, what am I going to stitch this for? Why, like when I'm done with it, what am I going to do with it? That was pretty big on my mind. So with the Christmas stocking, I found a purpose because my husband and I, we celebrate Christmas and we don't have Christmas stockings, and my brother and I used to as kids. So I thought, this will be awesome. I will stitch this up for Christmas for myself this year, and I will have a Christmas stocking that we can hang on our fireplace. So this kit, my photo. Whoa! Hopefully it will show up here. This is called Christmas Tradition Stocking. It's a dimensions kit. It is stitched on 14 count Aida. It's light blue. I actually have been thinking this whole time it was white. It's really hard to tell the difference. And I started this in April of 2025. So this is what I have stitched so far. It's really, really, really cool coming along. I started with the snowman here, and went down and stitched some of the more blues, went up to his scarf and hat, stitched the little boy's hat, and then kind of came in this way for some more of the blues, shadows, and then started it on the house in those colors. I like this project because I can kind of stitch where I want. As you can see, I kind of started doing some block stitching, kind of a new concept for me. Also, something else about this pattern introduced me to blended stitching. What is this sorcery? You take two strands of different color threads, blend them together into one thread, and stitch with that. Now, two strands of thread. Wow. That is a crazy process. I don't understand why you can't just dye a color that's in them between those two colors. I'm sure once this is all done, like I said, this is going to be full coverage. It's going to look amazing. I'm still questioning the sanity over that, but it's making me laugh. And I thought, well, you know what? I just dove right in. Let's just try this and see how this goes. I'm sure you're wondering about this. If you're a new stitcher, this is called a Q-snap. I think I found it on Amazon. And it works like a hoop. This is called a needle minder. It is a dragon. I'm sure many of you are wondering why a dragon is sitting on my Christmas stocking. I have the same question. It bothers me. However, I have found a use for this coming up, which I will discuss in plans at the end of this whip rate. So after those double strand craziness project, for my next project, did I choose to slow my roll a little bit, try to pick something you know, around a 2 to 3 month stitcher should be able to handle? Nope, of course not. I'm having too much fun. I chose next to do what I call is a tapestry. This one is called Rivendell Sunrise, a pattern from Outlet Cross Stitch on Etsy. And I'm going to show this whole picture of what this pattern is supposed to look like right here. It is massive. It is 200,000 plus stitches. I found this pattern and I really wanted to do this one again for my husband. He is a huge fan. He's read all the books like 10 times. And so I ordered this pattern and bought some fabric online, and I thought, wow, what a cool gift to give my husband for Christmas this year. Yes, you heard that right. I fully expected to be done with this by Christmas this year. I don't know what I was thinking. I had no idea how much I had bitten off with this project. He's lucky if he's gonna get it next year, let alone in 10 years. 20 years? I don't know. So if you want to become one of my fellowship companions, and stick with me on my journey all the way down to Mordor, you're gonna be in for a treat. This is gonna be you're gonna be here for a while, so strap in. It has taken me 18 hours to stitch this up. I will unfold it so you can see how big it is, but I wanted to show you, this is kind of what I'm using right now to hold the fabric together to make it an easier stitch. I am stitching this on Aida 16 count fabric, so it's pretty, it's over here, I guess is a better, it's pretty sturdy. So stitching on this works for now. I'm sure I will switch to a hoop later. There is a lot of confetti stitching up here. On first glance, it kind of looks like there might be, I don't know, 8 colors. I'm pretty sure there is about over 20 colors that is in here. So I kind of got tired of this confetti stitching and I decided to go down to block stitching, which has made me feel better. I've really seen my progress grow. I will come back to this confetti stitching eventually. I might almost be there. But for now, I'm really enjoying seeing this project kind of come to life. And to show you exactly where I am, I'm going to post another little picture right here to show you that I have completed 1%. I am finally up to 1% on this project. And that is the portion that I have stitched so far. This is how big this pattern is, which is why I'm calling it my tapestry. What do you think, guys? What's the consensus here? You think 10 years, 20 years, 5 years? Let me know in the comments below, and you can tell me how crazy of a new stitcher I am for trying to start and finish this project by Christmas. There is a lot more to this story and the progression of this so far that I will save for next video. I promise I will tell you more about this project, but for now we're gonna move on with my journey parade. All right, so for my next piece, did I pick something even bigger and more massive than that one? No, are you kidding me? Absolutely not. That's a huge project, so I decided to move in a different direction. Facebook. I joined a Facebook group called Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch. It is a group that is co-run by Carolyn Zook and Robin from Bird's Eye Stitches, and Carolyn Zook is from C Zook Stitch. And they co-run this group where you pick some projects to work on according to the theme of the month. And then they have an acrostic. So this is what a particular month would look like. You have, they choose a theme and then you pick a project that best fits that theme and you choose a goal. So a lot of people do, you know, they want to do like 500 stitches throughout the month. I tend to do how many days I've stitched on the project. I think for me mentally, it just flows better with where I am in my stitching journey and hobby right now. And then the acrostic is a word that kind of coincides with the theme, and then you pick a project for each letter of the acrostic. And it could be the title of a piece, it could be the author or the designer of the piece, or it could be something in the piece, like, you know, S for snowman. So this is kind of a really, really fun group that I found to participate in. But you can see that there are a lot of project opportunities to be had on this worksheet, and I don't have very many projects yet. So I said, yay, shopping! I went around, I found some really, this is when Joann Fabrics was going out of, was closing down. And so I went there to see if they had any cross-stitching projects, and lo and behold, they had a awesome budget-friendly sale. First project that I picked up that we are going to talk about is called Wine by Joan Elliott of Design Works. This is a kit. It's stitched on 14 count Aida. And here is my finished piece. Age gets better with wine. I just love this. One, because it's true, but two, because I'm a big wino. So kind of a simple stitch, really fun. Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but you'll have to keep watching to find out. Subscribe to find out what happens to this piece. This was fun. I took this to the beach to stitch. I did stitch this in the garden. It was a really nice piece to travel with and get some work done on various occasions. Another kit that I picked up at Joann Fabrics for this Facebook group was called Home Sweet Home by Ninette Parisi of Design Works. And this I thought was really cool because it was the first time I had seen something other than Aida white fabric. It's black. Okay, it just looked so cool. So this one's called Home Sweet Home. And I didn't get that far, but this is where I am. And I just really loved how these bright colors popped on the black fabric. This design is lovely. I am not in love with the chart. I'm not in love with the chart. The chart, it's very, very small, and it seems to be a bit smudged with some of the symbols. I don't like it. I can hardly see it myself. I don't know how everybody does this, to be honest. I will kind of give you a quick flash here to show you just part of it. I'm gonna fold this to kind of show you. I had to highlight where I stitch. So really quick here. Let's see where I've done some highlighting. And to keep up with where I am in the pattern, I have to stop, put the project down, highlight, pick the project back up. It's not very soothing. It's a very disruptive way of stitching, and I don't enjoy that. I love the black, I love the design, I love the colors that really are like popping on that fabric, but I don't like the size of this pattern. I think it needs to be bigger. As my eyes are, even my eyes are having a hard time with it. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's on my new stitcher. I don't know what it is, but so we'll see. We'll see. I'm putting it away for a little bit, maybe like a month, and then we'll take it back out and we'll see if what wins over. Am I super in love with this black and these colors popping? Or am I gonna get so frustrated with this chart that I don't want to stitch on it anymore? I'm not sure. So time out for now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, the next piece again for this magazine monthly cross stitching group that I've been working on is called Italian Blessing by Diane Arthurs of Imaginating. Again, this kit was made back in 2009. Stitched on, oh, the cloth. Let's talk about the cloth. Okay, pull this one out. When I first started stitching on this, again, this is a like a tannish piece. I was like, wow, look at this fabric. It's fuzzy. So this is where I'm at. Not fuzzy, it's just, it bends so much nicer. What is this fabric? It's 14 count Aida. Who would have thought? So I don't know if it's because this is an older project from 2009 or they just made them differently now and it's not as stiff as they are making them now. I don't know, but I really love stitching on this. This is also a good example right here. You can see my needle of why I really like needle minders, because this is just what I thought everybody did. You know, you just kind of stick your needle in with the thread on it and that's it. But I've come to learn that you can kind of create holes in the fabric, but just bigger holes that kind of stick out. So the needle minders are great and they are magnetic and it just pops your needle right onto the needle minder. As far as I've gotten, I've done just a little bit of back stitch. This project has a lot of back stitching in it. So I wanted to take care of some of that kind of as I went. So I am wondering if any of you have noticed, though, what is not fitting with all of these projects into the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge. Some of you might have guessed it. It is the fact that the word magazine is in the title. What does that mean? So after doing a bit more hunting around, I realized that it's called Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch because there are patterns in magazines. What? I did not know this. So when Robin and Carolyn designed this group on Facebook, it was originally for the purpose of pulling out your older stash of magazines that you had, you know, tucked away in a closet or a room somewhere, and had all these plans to start some patterns of these magazines but haven't had a chance to do it. So this was a good excuse to solely focus on magazine patterns for this group. It has now since evolved. You can use other patterns to fit the prompts, but that was the way the group was originally intended. So I scurried over to eBay and said, what are these magazines? I must know about them. So I purchased my first magazine called Just Cross Stitch Magazine to see what all the fuss was about. This one right here. And you will see a project come out of this for my future plans. So after I got that magazine, I loved it and I subscribed. And so now Just Cross Stitch Magazine gives you 6 magazines throughout the year. 4 are seasonal, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And then they give you a bonus Halloween issue around Halloween and a Christmas issue on Christmas time, which I am excited for that one to come out. The Halloween one just came out. So my next piece is a finish from Just Cross Stitch Magazine. And again, so this is another issue that I purchased on eBay, which is actually what convinced me to purchase the subscription. This is the spring issue. of this year. So I picked out a piece from Here to Stitch called Brimming with Blossoms. It's a teapot designed by Rhonda Norrie of Tangled Threads and Things. I actually love both of these patterns, but I just was able to stitch the teapot. So I started this in May 2025 and I finished in May 2025. It was a pretty quick stitch. One of my hobbies, as I told you about, was gardening, or is gardening, and I have just over 30 varieties of iris. So I have a huge iris garden that I like to show off in the spring, and I host a small group get together for high tea, where I have each person has their own teacup, saucer, teapots. We all drink tea and tour my iris garden. I just finished this piece for that little party. Lots of back stitching, but a relatively smaller piece. I love the shading. And I love the color of the teapot. I know there's been some stitchers that have changed this color out for teal, which looks really cool. I'm sure you could change out some of the flower colors. I just stuck with the original. I really liked how it looks and how it looked in the magazine. And I think this actually looks pretty true to what the magazine shows. The next piece I decided to start is called Nature's Journey, which is also in the spring Just Cross Stitch magazine of this year, 2025. This piece is by Katarina Hohen from Sprouting Lupine. And what she's done is she's created a spring piece that's released in the spring Just Cross Stitch magazine, followed by a summer, fall, and then winter. So you have to get all 4 magazines to complete this piece. I will put up a bigger picture of the spring section that I've been working on in the corner, so you can kind of see that a little bit better, or here on the side. And this is where I'm at. I really kind of thought the only fabric that there was to stitch on was Aida and white and black fabric, basically. In retrospect, I wish I would have finished this or started this on a different color. I think the called for is Into the Veil Lugana from Bestitch Me. But at the time, I didn't know what that meant. So I just picked up what I had and decided to start working on it. And I really love this design. The more I stitch on it, the more cool things kind of come to life. And it just really makes me happy. I started this in May 2025. So I've kind of been hustling to get this spring portion done so that I can start on summer. And this is on Aida, a 16 count Aida. There's a semi-tragic story about this piece. It used to be on a much larger piece of fabric. The idea was to stitch all 4 pieces on this single piece of fabric. So if you've been stitching for quite a while, you probably know where this story is going. I was on a Zoom call with Carolyn Zook during the monthly Zoom call meeting that the group hosts of Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch. And there are some wonderful stitches that come in from time to time and pop on to chat about what they're stitching. And they had pointed out to me that I might not have enough space to fit my project on. This was a really heartbreaking thing to hear. And right on the Zoom call, as they were chatting, I actually sat down and literally counted individually with my needle how many squares that I had left on this side. And sure enough, I was going to be short. Tragic. It was really, really tragic. But these wonderful, wonderful experienced stitchers were there for me, and they helped. But not only were they able to see that might be a problem right away as I was showing them, but they helped me brainstorm and talk about different ideas on what I could do other than restarting. Restarting was a topic that we talked about. At this point in my stitching journey, I didn't want to restart. I had already, I think, accomplished, it was about this portion, I believe. So it was quite a bit of stitching, and I was so happy stitching on it, and I just felt that by restarting, I wasn't going to be happy stitching on it. I was just going to feel really defeated. So we talked about some other ways to fix this, and one of the ways that we brainstormed and came up with together was to cut it into a single piece and to make the other pieces on separate pieces of fabric. And yes, on 16 count Ada. Don't want to mess that up. Well, what had happened was I had measured it correctly, but I had measured it according to the directions that it was 18 count, and it was not. It was 16 count. So shame on me. New stitchers, man. We gotta learn from our mistakes. I'm sure some of the veteran stitchers make mistakes too. It's frustrating, but I think part of this journey is learning how to overcome that challenge and how to try to move on. And yes, sometimes unstitching and restarting is the best idea, but I think for me that just wasn't it wasn't a good option. So this option is going to work out much better. I am getting 3 other pieces. I'm going to do 3 different colors for the summer, fall, and winter piece. And then at the end, I will line them all up, and with my sewing machine, I'm going to stitch them together so that the pattern, here will line up really nicely and kind of make it like a quilt. And so it will be a single piece that's finished. So I'm counting this as one whip. This is gonna be one full whip, all of this. And then here, so the pattern, let's go back to the pattern, shows I think it's like bluebells. Well, they're not blue. What's that flower called? Anyway, it's a really pretty design, but I am a huge gardener. I've talked about at the beginning of this video, and I grow irises. So I want to, sorry, this is my little coffee needle binder. I like working on this in the morning while I have my little cup of decaf coffee. So I want to make this into an iris, and I thought that this was a really great depiction of an iris leaf. And so I'm going to put an iris in here because to me, that's what I look forward to most in spring, are my irises coming up. So that is going to be a project. I have ordered some graph paper and have colored pencils, and I'm going to hand count all those squares and try to figure out what space I have left for the pattern. And I'm going to try to design an iris. We'll see how that goes. That might have to definitely have some unstitching in it. But hopefully with the graph paper, I'll be able to figure out and see how that's going to work. I don't know. So that's going to be something that I'm going to change about the pattern for the spring piece. After talking to those wonderful human beings on the stitch call, the Zoom call, they have this awesome power of enablement. Is enablement a word? They are huge enablers. And they convinced me to join a Fabric of the Month club to try out some different colors. I need some more a color palette in my whips, and to try some different fabrics. So I joined Be Stitch Me. They are a company that sells hand-dyed fabrics and silks. And so the June fabric arrived, called Dusk, and it is on 25 count Lugana. So I was like, cool, I get a different count, and I also get a different type of fabric, and I'm so excited about this. I love this pink. It is pink. Aha, like that. That, I had it right there, is the color of this beautiful fabric. It's a little bit bright. It looks a little more purpley on the camera, but it is a brighter pink with some white marbling. It is really, really cool. And for a little bit here, I was really trying to find something to stitch on. And I have found something that I will share with you in plans. So don't worry, this fabric is coming back shortly. Lastly, for my Journey Parade, I want to show you guys a piece that I have found on Etsy called Wizard Sampler. It is by author Embroidery Design. Not sure how to pronounce that, but Embroidery Design on Etsy. And I am stitching it on Ada 16. And I started this one in June 2025. My husband and I, in our guest room, we've decorated it to be a Harry Potter themed room. We grew up with the Harry Potter series. That's kind of our generation. So we are huge fans, and we each have our own set, complete copy of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter book series. So I will show you how far I am on that one. This is, Ada is really great for full coverage, I've started to realize, so that's good because this piece is a full coverage. So here is my start. Started in the top corner. Well, actually, okay, so I started here on the edges, and if you can see, I've stitched 5 stitches, and then I stitched a full cross, and that will help me figure out where the lines go, the blocks. This one I just did all the way up top. I finished that. So this has been super helpful in keeping track of where I am. I am doing this on Pattern Keeper, which is so much more helpful than a paper pattern for how I like to stitch. And again, this was a piece that I attempted to measure on 18 count on accident. That's when I thought this fabric was 18 count. So it is gonna be really close here. But I've already, stitched this all up with my sewing machine. There's a word for that. I can't remember what it is. Hopefully I'll find it. And singed, I think it's singed. So this will be a little tough. I probably won't be able to put it into a hoop, but like I said before, this fabric is really stiff, so I might just be able to stitch it maybe upside down. I am not having a problem stitching this. I haven't put this in a hoop yet, and this has been fine for me. So hopefully, and this is where it ends over here. So I feel like by the time I get down to here, I'm gonna be much more encouraged to finish it regardless of how much room I have. And I'm expecting this to go into a frame. So I don't think this is really gonna matter because I think this is all just gonna be snipped off and covered up in a frame of whatever I decide. Oh, and of course the needle minder that I chose, I do like them to match, if you haven't picked up on that. This is going to be, it is an owl, and it just reminds me of Hedwig, and he's so cute. I know it's not white, but that's what it reminds me of, and so it makes me happy. Okay, giveaways. I am really immersing myself into this hobby. I love it. I love all the excitement and community that I've seen out there. This plans to be a section in my videos. Unfortunately, I don't feel like I really have anything that's worth giving away at the moment, because I'm still new. So don't worry, this is coming. I love the giveaways, so stay tuned. Maybe next week, we'll see if we can find something. So maybe you should subscribe to my channel. And and we'll see what happens very soon. Before we get to future plans, there are a few Flosstubers that I'd really like to shout out. These people have been very influential in my decision to make a Flosstube, and have given me joy while I've been cross stitching, whether they know it or not. But I would like to mention Carolyn from Seazook Stitch and Robin from Bird's Eye Stitches. These are two amazing women that have been so welcoming to me and many other stitchers, and just give me, cyber hugs all the time. I love it. The third person I want to shout out is Jason X Stitches, but it's kind of like a, cross for cross stitch. It's kind of cool. I think he started his videos when I started cross stitching. So I've been following him since so that's been 6 months. I think he's been doing his Flosstube, and he is such a kind person. He has a lot of really interesting ideas in how he's changing some of the patterns, and some of the cool ideas that he's putting into these pieces. And I really like watching the way that his brain works and his process. The last person I want to, well, actually it's technically two people, but it's one shout out. The last person that I want to shout out, her Flosstube is Katie, and her Flosstube is Jeremiah's mom. So this is my little side shout out also to Jeremiah. They are wonderful to watch. Laughing, bubbly, really puts you in a good mood, very natural, and she likes to stitch all the things. But I love seeing her passion, and Jeremiah is such a good supporter, and I just love watching them. They are a hoot. So check them out. I've listed all of 4 of these channels below, and thank you from the bottom of my heart, you guys, for really showing me this cross stitching passion, and showing that this is a great, relaxing, communicative hobby, and especially for mental health. Okay, let's talk about my future plans. I will be participating in 1 round robin and 2 birthday starts coming up here shortly in August. So the round robin I'm participating in is run by Jason. He's very big on showing kindness to one another and putting your light out a little bit more in the world. And so he put everyone that wanted to participate, which is just over 70 people, into groups of 4. So the group that I'm in, we've already discussed our plans and kind of brainstormed, helped each other out, and we've each decided to each pick a project individually to start it, and then we will ship it to the next person. So I will ship it to this person will ship it to me, and then we will work on that project for a little bit, and then keep shipping it all the way until it is finished and it comes back to you. So we are dividing each of our projects into 4 sections for this to work. And I believe he has I think it's up to 9 now. I think it's 7 to 9 countries that are participating in this round robin, which he has called Stitching Connection. So the project I'm going to be starting, this is what I chose. It is called it's called Lighthouse Sampler, and it is by the Bay Needleheart. I'll put a better picture up here so you can really see. So what I've decided to do is stitch 2 of the lighthouses, and then everyone else will stitch 2 as well. So that leaves 1 square at the bottom, which I then plan on having the square be empty, and everyone's going to stitch in their name and where they're from, so we can really see where this piece has been traveled, been worked on. And I think that'll kind of make for a really cool memento and a great stitching piece, and it will remind me of all of these cool new friendships that we're developing. It's a really fun process. I'm just really excited to be able to participate. Okay, the next start I have is going to be a birthday start for Robin. She's Bird's Eye Stitchers, and her birthday is on August 7th. She had a cool idea. She wants everybody to stitch a bird. She loves birds, obviously. But it has to be from a magazine. So I pulled out my magazine and I found this piece that I'm going to be stitching with her for her birthday. It's called Bluebird Vest. The design is by Elizabeth Spurlock of Saving Grace's Fine Needle Arts. And yes, don't worry, it will not be stitched on white Aida. It'll probably still be stitched on Aida, but it's definitely going to be, I'm going to do something similar to this color, which I will show you next week. I'll show you the fabric. We'll do fabric next week. I kind of identify with the little bird being a new stitcher, and all of the experienced and veteran stitchers being the little mother bird, like, hey, you know, let's help teach you and guide you in what to do. And so this piece I think is going to be really meaningful for me because it's kind of how I'm growing in my cross stitching journey. So I'm really excited to start this one. Thank you, Robin, for having birthday. I am also very excited to have another birthday start in August with Sebastian. Sebastian's birthday is on August 14th. They are with B's and T's Stitching, and Sebastian happens to be one of the members in my group, or I'm a member in their group, of Jason's Stitching Connection. So we've already met and chatted, and I'm very excited to start. They want people to start a dragon with them on their birthday. So that's where this fabric comes back into play. I'm very excited. I have a use for this fabric. It's actually probably going to be about half this size, I think. So it'll be about that big. And I'm going to stitch a dragon and this is where my dragon needle minder will come back. So it will be on this piece matching the dragon. I don't have the pattern yet. It has been ordered, so I'm going to be checking the mail probably every day to see if it arrives. But here's the piece, and I think these colors are going to work really well for the pattern, or for the fabric. And I plan on keeping the clouds in the pattern, but I'm going to leave the sky blank. So that will be the pattern of the fabric. I think that's the look that I really want in this piece. So very excited to start that on August 14th. So I will leave you with these thoughts. In my stitching journey so far, I have learned it is very important to be nice to yourself. Cut yourself a break. Life is difficult. The world can be difficult. And it's important to take a moment for yourself. Reward yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You're doing a great job. Keep going. I think it's important to acknowledge the mountains that you've climbed and the obstacles that you've overcome. Reward yourself. Buy that project that's been sitting in your cart for too long. And then when you do, comment below and tell me what you bought. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. If you liked my journey and you want to watch some more, please subscribe, and I'll let you know when my next video comes out sometime next week. We'll see you then. Happy stitching. Stop touching your face. Okay. Okay, let's see where that is. I'm touching my face again.